everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden. Today we're going to be talking about food allergies in the first segment. Food allergies, a very misunderstood conception. The number to call to talk to me live, 866-582-9933. That's toll free, 866-582-9933. And if you're listening to the podcast after the live show and want help from a live human being, at number 855-347-3696, 855-347-3696. So here we are, folks, up against it. People dying left and right. Stupid medical research being reported on the CBS, NBC, ABC Evening News. Oh, multivitamins make no difference with heart disease. Well, what they should have said is Centrum Silver makes no difference with heart disease. You wouldn't expect, if I was building a house and, you need to put the studs every 16 inches, right? You're supposed to put the studs in the wall of the house every 16 inches. Well, if instead of every 16 inches I put them every 16 feet, I wouldn't have a very strong house, would I? And so, therefore, if I was making a stud wall with studs every 16 feet instead of every 16 inches, if I didn't know any better, I could reasonably conclude that wood is not a good way to build a house because it doesn't provide very much support. Well, if you take an anemic multivitamin at an anemic dose and you don't clean up your diet so that to help your body absorb nutrition, the vitamin's not going to work. The same way, if you put the studs in the wall every 16 feet instead of every 16 inches, the wall's going to fall down. It's made out of wood. It fell down, didn't have any structural support. So therefore, we're going to conclude we can't make houses out of wood anymore. It's nonsense. But this is what happens when you get a runaway medical industry bankrolled by the drug companies that are trying to pitch you the false notion that their you-know-what doesn't stink, even though their therapeutics are the leading cause of death in the United States and have consistently for 100 years failed to provide cures for the most common conditions. Heartburn, MDs can't cure that. Arthritis can't cure it. High blood pressure can't cure it. Type 2 diabetes can't cure it. Anxiety and panic attacks can't cure it. Depression can't cure it. Eczema can't cure it. Asthma can't cure it. Psoriasis can't cure it. Osteoporosis, osteopenia, arthritis can't cure it, can't cure it, can't cure it. We have gotten used to medical mediocrity. We have gotten used to medical mediocrity delivered by Machiavellian MDs. Machiavellian MDs, the ends justify the means. Let's just kill millions of people. And, bankrupt them first, and then we'll kill them, and in the meanwhile, we'll make them suffer. And then we'll gladly accept donations from their relatives who are so forlorn with grief that they're going to give the drug companies more money to come up with less cures for cancer. We need to be, we need our heads examined, and that's why I am here. Consider me the red pill to help you snap out of the matrix because you're dreaming a dream of death. You don't get sick because you have a pharmaceutical deficiency. You don't get sick because you're getting older. You don't get sick because you have a voodoo curse. You get sick because you're eating all the wrong food all the time and your body doesn't have the proper nutrition that it needs to keep itself healthy. For goodness sake, your animal, your pets are more nutrified than you are. Your vegetable garden has more nutrition in it than you do. For goodness sake, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we come to talk about it. This is where we come to educate ourselves about it. This is where we come to catch a clue about science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. Now, the topic of the day, food allergies. I had a conversation with a person earlier today. They were all excited. They had chronic health conditions, right? And they're all on board with the longevity stuff, and they're all excited, and they want to do the medical nutrition, and so let's do the medical nutrition. So they started the Healthy Start Pack and started to get heart palpitations. And the more that they took the Healthy Start Pack, the greater the palpitations became. The heart just started beating, noticeably in the chest. And that's not normal and that's not good. And so they stopped the nutritional supplements. which was a wise thing to do, gave me a call and said, "Hey, Doc, what's going on?" Well, here's what's going on. When you unwittingly consume wheat, barley, rye, and oats that you have been told are healthy foods by the companies that make them and by medical doctors who have no training, no clinical experience, no respect, and no appreciation for nutrition. You've let your MD, who is clueless about nutrition, tell you what to eat, and you believed it. You bought it hook, line, and sinker. Would you let your plumber tell you which car to buy? No. Would you let your accountant tell you how to put a roof on your house? No. Would you hire your electrician to fix your computer? Would you do that? Would you hire the guy that wired your house to fix your computer? No. You wouldn't do that. But you go to MDs for nutritional advice all the time. And it's nonsense. It's a fool's errand. But we do it all the time. So you're eating all the wrong food all the time because you trusted your stupid MD. And you trusted the people that make the food to tell you what food is good and what food is bad. And that is probably a bigger mistake. So the protein that's found in wheat, barley, rye, and oats collectively is called gluten. That's G-L-U-T, like Thomas, E-N, gluten. Gluten's getting a lot of press these days, thanks mostly to Dr. Wallach's efforts. A little bit less due to my efforts, but the whole gluten connection is getting traction these days in the popular media, and it's about freaking time. Because gluten is just a protein. It's the protein that's found in wheat, barley, rye, and to a lesser amount in oats, but it's still there. It's a protein. What is a protein? A protein is a string of amino acids. It's amino acids that are all chained together by chemical bonds. Now, amino acids are essential nutrients. Your body needs them. They are essential to your health. If you run out of amino acids, things start to break down in your body. Your body needs amino acids to make muscle fiber, to keep itself strong, to give itself structural integrity. It needs amino acids to repair tissues. Amino acids are very essential. And there are 12 amino acids that are essential. 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids that are essential nutrients. So, a protein, any protein, I don't care if it's a beef protein, a chicken protein, a monkey meat protein, egg protein, or grain protein, any protein is just a long chain of amino acids. As it turns out, the gluten protein found in wheat, barley, rye, and oats, those chemical bonds that hold those amino acids together are very, 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 very difficult for your stomach acid to break in two. So 99.99 times out of 100, and I just made that number up, the vast majority of the time, when you eat wheat, barley, rye, and oats, the gluten protein in those grains is undigested by your stomach. You can't do it. So now, instead of individual amino acids tumbling into your small intestine from the stomach, you get these long chains of complete proteins tumbling through your small intestine. And when you get big, undigested, complete chains of proteins in the small intestine, the tissues in the small intestine try to absorb them into the bloodstream, which is their job, but because they're so big, they destroy the tissues. So, which leads to one of life's greatest ironies, that the more whole grains you eat, the harder it is for your body to absorb nutrients from food. Ha! Isn't that just a kick in the pants? Isn't that just a kick in the pants? The more whole grains you eat, the harder it is for your body to absorb nutrients from food, because the protein in the whole grains, the gluten protein, tends to destroy the tissue in the small intestine that absorbs nutrients. OMG. But here's the deal. It gets a little more insidious. It goes one step deeper. The small intestine is the barrier between the inside and the outside of the body. Stuff technically isn't inside your body until it's into the bloodstream. it gets into the bloodstream mostly through the small intestine. Food, right, mostly through the small intestine. Air and, airborne stuff gets into the bloodstream through the lungs. But most stuff gets into the bloodstream through the digestive tract. That's why our digestive tract is so big. It is the job of the small intestine to absorb nutrients into the bloodstream, but we just ate a whole grain sandwich, didn't we? And, probably had a deli meat on it that had nitrates in it, and then mayonnaise, right? And then we ate some potato chips with it and washed the whole thing down with a Coca-Cola, which is a gigantic recipe for death. So all of this food that you're eating that you thought was healthy is causing inflammation and destruction on a microscopic scale to the tissue of your intestinal tract. Not only does it destroy the tissue in the intestinal tract that absorbs nutrients, but it also punches microscopic holes in the intestinal tract, which is referred to clinically as a leaky gut. L-E-A-K-Y. Leaky. A leaky gut. Now, the small intestine, remember, is the border between the inside and the outside of the body. So when you get holes in the border fence, illegal aliens can sneak through. And in this case, illegal aliens are improperly digested molecules of food. So, you have on your whole wheat sandwich organically grown tomato, which is, it's got to be great, really, it's really good food, right? So now you've got an organically grown tomato being digested by your stomach. It enters into the intestinal tract, but before it gets completely digested by the intestinal tract through bile and pancreatic acid, it leaks through one of the holes in the leaky gut, enters the bloodstream, and bam, your immune system mounts an immune response to it, and voila, you've got a food allergy. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Please check me out 24/7 on the World Wide Web at fireyourmdnow.com. We've got books for sale. We've got all kinds of information. I have an online health recovery program at $17 a month. Be the best $17 you'll ever spend. Cancel at any time. I've got a free newsletter that you can opt into. If you're a member of my online health recovery team, I've got live webinars, I've got archived webinars, I've got written information, got all kinds of stuff, live chat, a couple hours a week, all kinds of information, which the intention of which is to get you to shorten your learning curve about your health so that you can fire your MD. And you can do it now. You don't have to wait, just fire your MD now, because once you learn the easy steps, the fundamental easy pointers, the fundamental foundation for health, once you learn it, and it's easy, you don't need your MD. The only time you need an MD is, heaven forbid, you're in an automobile accident, you get your leg blown off in Iraq, or, you're in a drive-by shooting in South Chicago, whatever. They're good for trauma. That's the only time you need them. For everything else, we want you to fire them and instead become your own health advocate, because it's easy. Healing is easy, folks. Surgery is difficult. Now, we're talking about food allergies, right? So here you go. You're following your medical doctor's advice and the people that make the whole grain bread, and you're eating all the wrong food all the time. You've got wheat, barley, rye, and oats, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And every time you eat that crap, it destroys the tissue in your intestinal tract that absorbs nutrients, and it punches little microscopic holes in that tissue, eventually leading to the formation of a leaky gut. And so now you eat perfectly healthy food, 100% organically grown tomatoes harvested by Trappist monks under a full moon while they're chanting, "Oh my God, does it get any better than that?" Well, yes it can, but that's another story. So now you've got a tomato in your stomach acid digests it, the tomato molecules dump into the small intestine where they continue to be digested by the fluids in the small intestine. But because there's leaks in the small intestine, a big molecule of tomato slips through one of the leaks, enters the bloodstream where there should only be little molecules of tomato. And when it enters the bloodstream, everything that you digest, everything that you absorb, once it enters into your bloodstream through the intestinal milieu, meets the immune system. That's the border guard. Your immune system's central headquarters is in a network of blood vessels that surround your intestinal tract. It's called the greater and the lesser omentum. It is immune system central headquarters, and everything that filters through your intestinal tract, that absorbs through your intestinal tract into your bloodstream, gets a pass or a fail by the immune system. Now, when there's a big molecule of tomato where there should only be a little molecule of tomato, it gets a fail. And your immune system mounts a seek and destroy mission against the big molecule of tomato. So one of the things that it does is it tags that tomato with antibodies. And then the presence of the antibody stimulates another part of the immune system to engulf and dissolve the tomato molecule with acid, right? It kills it, gets rid of it. And interestingly enough, it does this through, one of the mechanisms that it uses to do this is through oxidative damage. Which is one of the causes of death, right? Oxidative damage is a double-edged sword. Oxidative damage is so prominent in the world that your body uses it to its own advantage. It's very smart, very sophisticated. But nonetheless, now you have developed antibodies to tomato. 100% organic, Trappist monk tomatoes. So now in the future, every time you eat a tomato, even if your body does digest it properly and you do have a small molecule that gets into your bloodstream the way that nature intended it to, your body tries to attack that too because it has the same molecular signature, the same chemical signature as the big molecule did. So now you have a food allergy. But back to the original complaint. The original complaint, remember, was the person that started the Healthy Start Pack took the Healthy Start Pack, got heart palpitations. So what the heck is going on? Well, in the Healthy Start Pack, in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine red multivitamin, multimineral powder, there's 115 fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables also have protein. You can only develop an allergy to a protein, by the way. Did you know that? You can only develop an allergy to a protein. So, if you have a leaky gut, and you swallow the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and the leaks are big enough, and your system is sensitive enough, you're going to develop an allergic reaction to one or more of the 115 fruits and vegetables. How ironic is that? And one of the side effects, or direct effects, of an allergic reaction in the body is a rapid heartbeat, increased pulse. Your friendly neighborhood naturopathic physician today talking about the genesis of food allergies. So, here's the deal. Whole grains cause leaky gut and destroy the villi in the intestinal tract, which absorb nutrients. So it's kind of like a double whammy, because not only does that increase the genesis of nutrient deficiency diseases, but it also sets up the generation of food allergies. You can be allergic to any food that has protein in it, which is, any food. So you can have an allergy to tomato, an allergy to carrot, an allergy to anything in the world. You can have an allergy to it. And one of the things that happens when you eat an allergic food is your pulse rate quickens, if you eat enough of it, or if you're sensitive to it enough. And allergies are tricky things because, there are some people, for instance, that are allergic to cats. And, their cat allergy, man, is so bad. If they're in a room and a cat lived there 3 years ago, they're going to start sneezing their head off. And there's other people that are allergic to cats. They're going to be okay if they're in the same room as a cat, and the only time they're going to have trouble is if the cat jumps up on their lap, right? So it's the same with food allergies. Different people will have different sensitivities to it, but one of the cardinal signs and symptoms of a food allergy is your pulse rate quickens once you eat the food that you're allergic to. So how about that? So this person gets the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, their heart rate increases. That's a drop-dead diagnostic clue that they're allergic to one or more of the proteins that are in the 112 fruits and vegetables in that particular product. Now, the only workaround for a food allergy is you have to stop eating the stuff that you're allergic to. That's the only workaround. You can recover from a food allergy, but you're always going to be intolerant to gluten. You can recover from a food allergy, but you're always going to be intolerant to gluten, which is what set the whole darn thing up in the first place. So, now, when I was in medical school, at Bastyr University of Naturopathic Medicine in Seattle, Washington. We did an interesting experiment. There are laboratories in the world that say that they test for food allergies, right? And food allergies are mediated by different parts of the immune system: immunoglobulin A, immunoglobulin E, immunoglobulin M, and immunoglobulin G, like Glidden. Well, depending on the testing apparatus that the labs have and really how, smart they are, you're gonna test for IG, immunoglobulin A, immunoglobulin E, immunoglobulin G, or immunoglobulin M, whatever. The best foods, the best immunoglobulins to test the presence of a food allergy that, we talk about with clinical nutrition is immunoglobulin G and immunoglobulin M. Now, these are called delayed hypersensitivity reactions, and this is not what you think about when you think about somebody, for instance, who's allergic to peanuts. If you're allergic to peanuts, that is an immediate hypersensitivity reaction, and that's mediated by immunoglobulin E or immunoglobulin A, IgE or IgA. That means you eat a peanut, you eat a strawberry, you eat something that you have an immediate hypersensitivity to, and boom, you get an immediate and strong allergic reaction. Your airways swell up, right? You can't breathe. Your lips turn blue. You get a rash. You get hives on the skin, right? It's an immediate allergic reaction. There are a whole family of food allergies not concerned with immediate hypersensitivity reactions, but concerned with delayed hypersensitivity reactions. And delayed hypersensitivity reactions are more insidious, because if you're not mindful, you can miss it. You can have a food allergy to tomatoes or to strawberries your entire life and be clueless about it, because the net negative effects happen 6, 12, 24 hours after you eat the food that you're allergic to. It's delayed. It's not immediate, right? It gets a little insidious. And, it depends entirely on, how mindful you are of what's going on. So this is an interesting thing to talk about, because once you clean your diet up with the longevity, once you stop eating the 10 bad foods, which, by the way, includes gluten, wheat, barley, rye, and oats, once you clean your diet up and take the appropriate nutritional supplements, once you do that, if you are still, and you take your nutritional supplements, if you are still bothered by something nagging, some nagging chronic health complaint, so you clean your diet up, you take the 90 for life, your blood pressure gets better, your blood sugar gets better, your arthritis gets better, but that nagging little pain in your hip just won't go away, or whatever, you still get the headaches every day. 3 things have gotten better, but you still got the headaches. Whatever's left, if anything is left, is probably due to a food allergy. And you are unwittingly probably eating food that you're allergic to. You have no idea that you're doing it. So there are 2 ways to figure this out. You can do blood work, but you need to be careful of the lab that you send it to, because we sent split samples to labs when I was in medical school, which means, we took somebody's blood, we took 10 vials of somebody's blood, and we gave it 10 different names, 10 different ages, 10 different races, right? It's all the same blood. We just labeled it differently and sent it to the same lab to have it tested for food allergies. And what do you think? They gave us back 10 completely different results. And, that's just bad science. Because it's blood work. This isn't rocket science. It's blood work. If it's the same person's blood, you should get the same test results, right? Yeah, right. Kind of a no-brainer, right? Well, as it turns out, there was only one lab that consistently gave good results with split samples at U.S. Biotech. Now, arguably this was 20 years ago. And it's possible that the other laboratories in the world have cleaned up their act and do better jobs now, but I don't care and I don't know. They screwed it up then. I'm going to go with U.S. Biotech. That's the lab that I recommend that anybody uses if you're, going to spend a couple of $100 to test for food allergies. U.S. Biotech. And, these labs, U.S. Biotech and the other labs that do, food allergy testing, you can only get the test through a licensed healthcare practitioner. You can only get the test through licensed healthcare practitioners like naturopaths or chiropractors or, naturopaths or naturopaths or naturopaths or naturopaths, right? go to a naturopath. But what's better, come to me. You want to do a food allergy test? Send me an email. I'll hook you up with a food allergy test, no problemo. The email to send me for that is info, I-N-F-O, at drglidden.com, info at drglidden.com. So the point here is, so there's another way to check for food allergies. There's one more. You don't have to do the blood work. The blood work, if you get the right lab, is, it's the easiest way to do it. But another way to do it is every time one of your chronic symptoms flares up, you want to make note of what you just ate. So every time that hip pain flares up, write down what you just ate. And then the next time the hip pain flares up or the asthma flares up or whatever the heck it is that you haven't gotten rid of through the dietary change and the nutritional supplements, you just write it down. Now, by the third or the fourth time, whatever it was flared up, there's going to be foods on the list that you've been writing down that are common. And so it's the foods that are common on your running list that you're probably allergic to. And that's the poor man's way to diagnose a food allergy. And then, so here's what you do for kind of like the icing on the cake, and no pun intended. So you've got your list, and you say, well, maybe it's a carrot, maybe it's a tomato, maybe it's a strawberry, right? Maybe it's a peanut that I have a delayed hypersensitivity reaction to. So you sit down in a chair, and you relax, and you take your pulse, and then you eat a handful of peanuts, and you wait 15 minutes, and you check your pulse again. If your pulse rate has increased by more than 10 beats a minute, you're probably allergic to that food. If your pulse rate has increased by more than 10 beats a minute, you are probably allergic to that food, and that's how you test it. Now, like this person that called me on the phone this morning, they were very sensitive to this. They didn't need to take their damn pulse. They could feel their heart beating in their chest. Boom, diddy, boom, diddy, boom, diddy, boom. They're sensitive. Now, if you are saddled with a food allergy, you must be gluten-free. You have to stop it. Because we get to the root cause of things. That's what we do. We nip it in the bud. We get to the root cause. So what do you have to do? You have to determine and eliminate from your diet the foods that you're allergic to, number one. And number two, you have to get to the root cause of what caused it to happen in the first place. What caused it to happen in the first place was consistent consumption of wheat, barley, rye, and oats. That's what did it. So clean your diet up, ladies and gentlemen. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. And to get the list of the 10 bad foods, just go to my website, fireyourmdnow.com, opt in for my free monthly newsletter, and I will automatically send you the list of the good food, bad foods, and a little video that I produce that explains this whole protein thing a little bit more, and it's free. So eliminate the 10 foods from your diet. Take one Healthy Start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month into your body. Give that 3 months and see how you feel. You have no idea what you're missing. You're going to love how you feel, because when you give your body the stuff that it needs and stop eating food that's gumming up the works, 9 times out of 10, your body rallies and fixes itself, and that is a beautiful thing. All right. I told you I was going to take your calls in this segment, and I'm going to. We've got 2.5 minutes left. Grace, you are up with a question about muscular dystrophy. Thank you so much for calling.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. I currently was diagnosed recently with muscular dystrophy, and I'm undergoing genetic testing. And anyhow, I started the Healthy Start pack along with D-Stress, D-Radical, the selenium, and I was wondering if there's anything else that you would recommend that I take. I am nursing. I had a baby this year, and I've just been very fatigued, and my body just feels really weak and achy.
I bet it does. So the most important thing for you, Grace, is you're taking all the right stuff. The most important thing for you is that you're taking enough of it, and that you're absorbing what you're taking. So in order to increase the potential for absorption, you must eliminate the 10 bad foods from your diet. No wheat, no barley, no rye, no oats, no oil in a bottle, right? You should know the drill. And you can go to the website and opt in for my email newsletter, and I will automatically send you the list of the 10 bad foods you shouldn't eat. So you need to identify those foods and stop eating them, number one. Number two, well, how much do you weigh?
I'm 37 years old. I weigh 164 pounds, and I'm about 5'10", 5'10 and a half.
All right.
I'd like to lose some weight, but I don't know if there's anything I could take that's safe considering I'm nursing.
Well, the only reason that people, so once you dial in the appropriate dosages of the nutritional supplements, you'll automatically lose weight. And once you eliminate the 10 bad foods from your diet, you'll automatically lose more weight. So really, you don't need to worry about that because it will happen automatically once you're doing the right stuff. So, at 160 pounds, in a perfect world, here's what I would have you do. 4 scoops of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. You would basically need 2 Healthy Start Packs a month. 2 Healthy Start Packs a month. And 3 bottles of selenium a month. 2 Healthy Start Packs a month and 3 bottles of selenium a month. I would do that for 90 days because, you're under the weather here. That's how I would handle this. 2 Healthy Start Packs and 3 bottles of selenium a month, plus complete abstinence from all the 10 bad foods. All right? So check that out. Dial in the dosages and see how you feel. FireYourMDNow.com is the website that you should be going to. You should be telling everybody in your family, everybody in your church about, because we have access to information which is science-based and clinically verified, which can save your life and dramatically reduce the physical suffering that you're undergoing and increase your life expectancy, and it doesn't get any better than that. Now, I was talking to Grace a minute ago about muscular dystrophy. Grace, if you're still listening, here's how you dose this, right? So you're 160 pounds, you're in the weeds, so I would give you the 200-pound dose. That would be 1 scoop of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, 1 level scoop of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine in 12 ounces of water 4 times a day. And you want to take at least an hour to drink each dose down. Another way to do it is put 2 scoops in 24 ounces. So put 2 scoops in 30 ounces of water in the morning and 2 scoops in 30 ounces of water in the afternoon. Take all morning to drink the first solution and take all afternoon to drink the second. That's a better way to do it, probably. The white liquid calcium, the Osteo FX Plus, the recommendation is 1 ounce in a little bit of orange juice in the morning, 2-3 ounces of orange juice in the morning, just slam it down, and 1 ounce either in a little bit of orange juice or a little bit of water immediately before bed. 1 ounce twice a day, either in orange juice or water. Take the second dose immediately before bed. The EFA Plus, which is the third component of the Healthy Start Pack, you take 3 capsules twice a day with food. 3 with lunch, 3 with dinner. Life is good. And last but not least, the selenium, the ultimate selenium, which is very important for anyone with muscular dystrophy. The recommendation would be for a 160-pound person, 2 capsules 3 times a day. Actually, for you, I'm going to modify that and tell you to take 4 bottles a month. So that would be 4 capsules 3 times a day. 4 with breakfast, 4 with lunch, and 4 with dinner. Actually, you know what? It's better to take the selenium between meals. Because often if we're eating beans or rice or certain other legumes, there's a biochemical in those foods called a phytate. That's Phytate, and the phytate can bind to the minerals, disallowing absorption. So it's best to take selenium between meals. So take 4 capsules 3 times a day between meals. If that's a little rough on an empty stomach, you can eat it with a banana, right? Eat a little bit of a banana and then take the selenium. But that's all that you need. Plus, you also need to eliminate the 10 bad foods from your diet. I think we're going to have time for one more. Ruth, if you're there, you are live with Dr. Glidden. Thanks for calling.
Okay. I wanted to ask, my daughter is about 45 years old. She has 6 children, and she and 4 children were at the dentist a few weeks ago, and she had no cavities, and the 3 older children had none, but the youngest guy, 5 years old, had 5 cavities. And she was 40 years old when she had him, and she's just wondering what you would recommend for that one guy.
Boy, that's a great question. Well, rarely do I get asked questions like this. That's a great question, Ruth. So here's the deal. Your dentist will tell you that you get cavities because there's too much sugar in your diet or you don't floss enough, and that's nonsense. The only reason that people get cavities is because the structural integrity of the tooth is gone. You know, your tooth has run out of the stuff it needs to keep the enamel strong, to keep the tooth strong, to keep the gums strong. It's got little or nothing to do with sugar. Now, you know, if you're drinking 16 Coca-Colas a day, that's one thing, right? But 9 times out of 10, again, I made that number up, the majority of the time, tooth decay has got nothing to do with sugar and everything to do with not enough minerals. So specifically, the specific antidote for this would be 1 Healthy Start Pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, plus 1 extra bottle of the plant minerals a month. 1 extra bottle of the plant minerals a month. And, you know, people say, oh, Dr. Glidden, is this stuff safe to give to newborn babies? Is this stuff safe to give to 4-year-olds? Is it safe? It's mandatory. But we recommend the kids take it in utero, for goodness sake. We recommend before you even think about getting pregnant, you load your body up with the nutrients so the developing embryo can have all the nutrition that it needs out of the gate. This is a much better way to do it, a much saner way to do it. The moral of this story today and every day, ladies and gentlemen, is simple. In order to secure your health and your wealth, fire your MD now and join us at Youngevity. Check it out, fireyourmdnow.com. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow.